One final time, we welcome you back to this edition of 5 Talk Street. I'm Scott Murray. Dallas-Fort Worth is certainly home to a lot of horse lovers, and here to tell us how you too can adopt a wild horse or burro is Paul McGuire. He is the public affairs specialist for the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. Great to have you along, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. Let's start right at the top.
Sure.
You talk about a wild horse. I've seen a few of those out in the pastures and what have you, out in the range, but a wild horse and a burro. Tell us what you're talking about here.
Well, wild horses are commonly known, referred to as Mustangs, wild Mustangs. They're actually a unique breed to North America. They represent really who we are as kind of an American people. They came to be as a result of our expansion westward. And Congress passed a law back in the early 1970s declaring that they should be protected on public lands throughout the West. A burro is kind of in the same camp. It's a donkey, basically. It's exactly what it is, in fact. So the law protects these animals, and the agency that I work for, the Bureau of Land Management, is responsible for managing these herds on the public lands. It's about 250 million acres of public lands out west that we manage, and one of the resources we manage are wild horses and burros. What that involves primarily is periodically removing animals from the range so that we can keep those populations at a manageable level. And the animals we remove from the range we take around the country to places like Glen Rose, it's happening this weekend, also Fort Worth and places all over the country, and offer them to the public for adoption.
Now, when you talk about adoption, do you actually say, hey folks, you can come adopt this one, just like you'd go to the SPCA to adopt a dog or something like that?
That's exactly right. It's not a virtual type adoption like some people might think. It's a physical adoption. You're actually going to take this animal home and make it part of your
Now, do you do
family.
any checkup on these people to make sure that these folks are going to take care of this and not abuse this animal?
We do. There's actually a pretty rigorous application process they need to go through to make sure they've got adequate facilities and a care and feeding plan. And then we do have compliance inspectors that'll come out and check up on the animal sometime during that first year that they have it.
So what do you do day to day? What are your, with BLM and what have you? I just wondered what your specific jobs would be on a day-to-day basis.
Well, me personally, I do a lot of, I'm a public affairs specialist, so I do a lot of marketing and public relations in support of the wild horse and burro adoption program. BLM is also responsible for many other resources, oil and gas, so I get involved in that. But it's the wild horse issue that's really fun, and that's what we enjoy doing.
Well, then, for somebody out there that might be watching us today, why should somebody adopt a burro or a wild horse?
You know, that's a really great question. When someone participates in the adoption program, they're really contributing in a direct and material way to helping us preserve and protect wild horse and burro herds on the public lands for this and future generations. So it's a really direct and impact that people can have.
So, qualifications. Am I a good guy to go ahead and adopt those? You said that you check people and what have you.
You might be. You know, you don't have to have land. A lot of people say, oh, I got to have a bunch of land.
Well, that's what I wondered.
Not necessarily.
I don't have a lot of land.
Now, you can board the horse. It doesn't have to be kept on your, in your property. You can board the horse. What we want to make sure is if you adopt an adult horse, you have at least 400 square feet of corral space, so it's adequate space for the animal, with free access to food and water, a good quality care and feeding plan in place. If you have that, you can take this animal home, begin to train it, because you do understand it's a wild horse initially. It's fearful of humans. It thinks you're out to get it. But once it realizes you are its partner in life, it's going to respond very readily to you.
So almost like a stray dog that's been abused or something, they can be, to a certain point, pretty well tamed if there's a trust factor there.
Absolutely. Wild horses are very intelligent. They have to be in order to survive. And that intelligence actually works to our advantage when it comes to training them.
And how many horses could I adopt? Say I had a pretty good spacious area.
Sure.
Could I adopt more than one?
You can adopt more than one. We'll let you adopt up to 4, and that's one of the safeguards we have in place. There's also a minimal fee that we charge, it's $125. And these safeguards are in place to make sure someone doesn't get the idea of commercially exploiting the program. We want to make sure the animal is actually going to a good home.
You said you got an event this weekend, but coming up in January, you've got something else. What is that?
January, a big event right here in Fort Worth. It's called Mustang Magic. It's with one of our partner groups, the Mustang Heritage Foundation. They're going to be bringing in dozens of trained Mustangs. So these are animals that have been in the hands of trainers for several months, and they're going to offer them for adoption right here in Fort Worth now at the Will Rogers Center.
What's the best part about your job? I mean, you look like you have a heck of a lot of fun doing what you do day in and day out.
I love it. I love doing this. I love telling people about the program. I love spending time with the horses. I don't get to as often as I would like to, but when I do, it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's very cool. BLM. Make it happen, huh?
That's it.
That's great. Paul, I can't thank you enough. This was very, not only entertaining, but very educational.
Thank you.
That's great stuff. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
And if somebody out there wants to, you got a number, a website?
Easy to, blm.gov. Go there, follow the links to wild horses, or a toll-free number, 866-468-7826.
Okay, give that again. BLM.
blm.gov, or 866-468-7826.
Awesome. Very good stuff. Keep up the good work. That's
Thank you.
great. Well, thanks to Paul, and certainly thanks to each and every one of you. We wrap up this edition of 5 Talk Street. Till next time, I'm Scott Murray. Have a great day, everybody.